Hey everyone, and welcome to Screams After Midnight. I'm Peter. That is Timothy.
Yo,
Tim,
yo,
that's you.
what up?
We are
You're right.
going
You're
to.
right.
I am right. We are unfortunately going to talk about a Rob Zombie film today. His most recent film, 31, which just came out on your VOD services and I think a limited theatrical release as well. Do you know who's in this movie? Do you know who's in the Rob Zombie movie?
Jeez, I don't know. I can't think of one person that would be in a Rob Zombie movie.
Well, I don't know if she's been in any other Rob Zombie movies, but Sherry Moon Zombie is in this movie.
Oh my gosh, who would have thought?
So obviously it's getting as bad as Tim Burton and Helena Bonham Carter.
Yeah,
Although I think they've split up now, but yeah, she's still in these movies, which is weird. But whatever. So
I feel like
31.
though I feel like Helena Bonham Carter though didn't have to do nearly as embarrassing stuff.
That is true. So do you know? Do you know it's almost been 10 years since the Halloween remake?
Oh no, I guess I just never thought about it ever.
Yeah, it's 10 years next year.
Actually, I'm not too excited about it. We were just talking about it, but I just got the Halloween Blu-ray box set, and it's so depressing just to like scroll through like the list of movies on it, and then it's just like such a jarring halt once it gets to those two Rob Zombie ones, and it's just like I'm gonna have to watch these, aren't I?
Yes, at some point we have to talk about those on the show, and we will do that at a later date. We promise you, folks. That it will be a miserable time, but we're here to talk about 31 today. Now, 31, again, Rob Zombie doing what Rob Zombie does, and we'll start spoiler free here. We'll save the proper spoiler stuff for towards the end. But honestly, you shouldn't care. It's not a very good movie. That's not
Yeah.
lie. You know,
It's the first movie I've seen that was named after its predicted Rotten Tomato score, which I thought was interesting. But
that was a good joke, Tom.
thank you.
Um, but so this movie is kind of I would describe it as The Purge meets The Running Man,
Okay.
because a group of characters are kidnapped and put in a game where these rich people want to see like these masked killers or crazed murderers like try and kill the victims, and they put bets on who's going to survive the longest and all that kind of thing. And it's of course set in the 70s because it's Rob Zombie, and he seems to only like making movies that look like they're covered in the 70s like grim grittiness. And
Yeah.
honestly, I don't even have a problem with that. See, if his thing was just, I'm going to make movies that feel like 70s Grindhouse, if they were actually good, I wouldn't even mind so much. But because they're not good, and I always feel like I want to shower. Every time I watch one of his
Yeah.
movies, I'm like, oh, everything about this is disgusting. All the people look disgusting. It's like the makeup artist is going up to them before each take and just smeared like Vaseline and like
Yeah.
grit over them.
It's just so dirty, but not in obviously we watch a lot of horror movies, and horror movies tend to be to get very gross and gory and stuff, but not they usually don't make you feel like this kind of slimy, grimy way that these movies do. Just like every time they would close up on someone and they just got dirt all over them, or like every time they would show someone's teeth and they were just like caked with blood. I was like, oh, like I just want these people to shower and brush their teeth and stuff.
I concur with that thought. I have very similar thoughts. Before we get to any negatives, though, which is going to be, let's be honest, most of the video, because neither of us like Rob Zombie movies, I
Yeah.
do have a couple of positives.
Okay.
Well, first of all, I do actually like the idea. I like the basic plot.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Like, it's a very simple plot. It's not very original, but I like these kinds of setups for horror movies. I like, one location. There are, game of survival. They have to survive till the morning. And here it's very specific. It's 12 hours long. Like, once it hits 7 a.m.,
Yeah.
you're out of it if you're still alive. So I like the basic plot. I actually quite like the opening scene in black and white, where we meet what ends up being sort of the big bad for the end of the movie, who's called Doomhead. All the villains in this movie have head at the end of their names, but Doomhead, and the reason why I like this opening is because it's just one of, like the previous year, the previous like victims, right? So one person who's a member of the previous part of like victims, and it's just, and you don't see him for ages though. You see this really nice wide shot, and you see the door open. You just see like it's a blinding light almost. So the silhouette of Doomhead is like very skinny, and you can't really make it out properly. But as he walks towards the camera, you see more of him. And a lot of this scene is essentially just a close up of his face as he like delivers this monologue about how much he enjoys killing, and you know how good he is at it, and you know it philosophizes a little bit about death and you know whatever. I think the reason why I liked this scene was there was two main reasons. One was I think the actor Richard Brake was doing a really good job. I think his mannerisms and how much he enjoyed his job really came across, and it was really creepy. And secondly, unlike the rest of the movie, the camera stayed still.
Yeah. You
know, it was a very reserved, very confident, we're going to keep the camera in one place. There was only maybe one or two shots where it cut to it turned out to be a priest that he was about to kill. But most of it stayed very static. It stayed very confident, one place, and let the actor do his thing. And it was very creepy and sort of foreboding as a result. Unfortunately, much like his other films, the rest of this movie, Rob Zombie loves whipping the camera around as quickly as he possibly can, to the point where you can barely make out what's going on during the sort of the action scenes, if you will, where there's a lot of like stabbing or like running and whatever going on.
Yeah, there was a lot of what the heck's the word? Like frenetic camera work. I feel like not just like, you know, with the whipping around, but also there was like, you know, lots of like strobe lights and
strobe lights. Yeah, there was a lot of that.
Like, you know, some I don't know. I almost want to say lens flare, but like I don't know. Wait, can it still be lens flare if it's not like from the sun? Like, can it be any light source?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I was trying to think like, is there like a different name for it if it's like underground?
I'm actually I'm almost dreading the comments on the video now after you said that.
I don't care. Those stupid film nerds come at me. I don't care. But I think the reason I was thinking of like solar flare, but anyway, but yeah, there's all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna disagree with you a little bit here, though. I really didn't like the opening scene that much. It felt like it was trying so hard, and it's actually funny that you mentioned Grindhouse, because I really got a feeling that, man, like he really wants to be like Tarantino or something.
He does. He's upset. He wants to be that so bad. You can feel it in every single frame of it.
Yeah, and I just felt like this opening scene was trying so hard to be something like, oh, there's this like killer, but he's like, you know, he's this dirty, you know, crazy redneck guy, but he's like very well spoken, and he has like this philosophy, and he's gonna say this kind of like, you know, quippy thing, but that doesn't really make sense, but it's gonna sound cool and smart, and it just like sounded like it was trying so hard to do stuff like that.
I can see it. It is fair. But
I will agree that, like, compared to the rest of the movie, it was definitely one of the better scenes. So.
Yeah, well, I think for me, more than anything, it was the filmmaking and the acting in the scene. Not so much what he was saying. It was
I'll agree with. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. We were going to keep the camera on the same shot for quite a long time. It stayed in the same shot for probably minutes.
I was like, "Is this the whole movie?"
and the rest of the movie, it almost felt like he was scared to like stay in the same shot for longer than 2 seconds. Everything is cutting and moving so fast the entire time. It is, it's obnoxious. That is the word I would use to describe Rob Zombie's filmmaking style.
That sounds good.
It's obnoxious. But so we meet our cast of characters. There's 5 main ones who are like alive for the game, because when the you know, the people that these aristocrats have paid to kidnap them, kill the extras, and we're left with these main 5. And
sorry, I just had a quick question. When we, like, you know, as soon as we first meet them, did you know that there was going to be the good guys right away?
It's actually a really good question, because I'll be honest, I did not think that. I thought these characters might be the villains. These might be the people who are going to start killing people, because these people are awful. They are.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to return to that word, obnoxious. It also describes Rob Zombie's characters 9 times out of 10. Every single one of these people I hated within seconds.
Yeah, definitely.
Every word that came out of their mouth was just crude or slimy or... And, like, I'm not saying you can't make a 70s Grindhouse style movie. You can. Like, we're talking about, like, Tarantino and Rodriguez kind of did that kind of thing with the Grindhouse double feature. And the difference between Tarantino, though, and Rob Zombie is that when Tarantino writes his dialogue is so entertaining and engrossing, where even if the characters are awful people, like that, like characters in Tarantino movies more often than not are awful people.
Yeah.
But I don't hate them in the same way that I hate these characters. I maybe hate them for like the villainous things they do, but I am engrossed by what they're doing. I care about what's happening on screen. Whereas here, I'm just like, I hate you with every fiber of my being. I hope you die quickly.
Definitely. It again, it just goes back to that feeling where it's trying to be in your face, and like it's trying to be like outrageous and stuff. Like it doesn't feel natural. Like
one thing that really got me throughout the movie as well, and it's been a while since I've watched these other films that I've seen. It was probably the same case, but I don't remember if it was. I really thought the movie's attitude towards sex and nudity was really immature. Like, it was like every chance they got. There was C-bombs getting dropped. They were constantly talking about women being whores. There was constant just casual nudity for no reason. There was like at the start of the movie, because they're in this trailer, they're driving in an RV, and they're driving. And I thought it was really weird how they basically mentioned that they're part of a circus or a fairground, and then the villains are also kind of all circus themed. It was weird, but they stop at a gas station, and Sheri Moon Zombie's character Charlie comes out, and she notices that the old man who works there is kind of eyeing her up. So instead of acting like any normal human being would, upon being perverted by an old man, she then starts taunting him, and then grabs his balls and has all this weird innuendo with them. I'm like, what's happening?
Yeah, that's why I feel bad for her, because I don't know, it just seems like so weird, like Rob Zombie directing the scene and just being like, all right, now grab this old guy's cock and just start she's not humping on, but she's kind of like going up and down, and it's such a weird scene, and again, so unnecessary. Like, all right, if you want to have a creepy old man maybe say a one-liner or something, fine, whatever. But it lingers on it so much, and they have this interaction for a few minutes, and it's like this is so unnecessary and juvenile, and what's the point of it? It's so dumb.
Yeah, and then even before that, when they're still in the RV, there's a scene where mustache guy, what's his name, Roscoe. He goes to the back room of the RV, and one of the other guys is with one of the girls who dies early on, and they're having sex, and he comes in and has a conversation with them, and they're both sitting there naked, and the whole thing just feels really weird.
Yeah, it's so I don't know. I guess just unnecessary. Again, if you want to have them, go in the back and they're having sex and oh, hey, what are you doing? Cover up, and then the guy is shuts the door, whatever. Fine, but everything just lingers on it for way longer than it's supposed to be, and then not only are you seeing the naked girl and everything, but then the guy tells him this joke, this really dumb dirty joke, and which again I feel is trying to be that kind of oh, hey, I'm gonna insert this lame joke, but it's gonna be funny because of the situation it's in, of this guy telling it to this guy while this girl's naked, and then the naked girl doesn't get it, so he has to explain it, and it's again, it's just, what's the point of this? Who enjoys this? I do not know.
And it's funny because we spend a good few minutes in this RV with them all being awful and just having awful dialogue, and then once they stop at the gas station, this random woman comes over and talks to Roscoe and kind of flirts with them, and it's obvious what she's doing because she makes the point of asking if they're hunters. She's obviously trying to figure out if they have weapons and if they might make a chance of fighting back and all that. And then almost immediately they get kidnapped. It cuts to night, they get kidnapped, and I feel like as much as it lingers on other stuff, it rushes through this part of the story so much. Like it never stops to actually like let them show their horror and their shock of this happening to them. Like
Yeah.
as soon as like the aristocrats come out and say, right, this is happening, and then they all wake up in different locations in this abandoned power plant or something, whatever it is.
Yes, yeah, something like that.
Um, like they immediately just start talking. all they do is swear about what's happening. They never actually stop and go, "Oh crap! I have been kidnapped and I'm now in a game of life and death."
Yeah.
There's never any moment where the characters feel like they're really realizing what's going on.
Yeah.
But so I said earlier on, it reminded me a lot of The Running Man in a weird way because of the way the plot plays out. So
I can see that. Yeah.
one by one they send in like a killer. In that movie, it was gladiators they called them.
Sounds right.
But yeah, so they send in a killer. So the first one is a small Nazi named Sickhead.
Yeah. Yeah, I think at this point in the movie, I'm just like, I have no idea what is going on,
Well,
but I do not like it.
if I didn't think it already, this is the point where I definitely agree with you that it's trying far too hard to be shocking.
Yeah.
Oh look, it's a mini Nazi.
Yeah.
And he says various vulgar things and he stabs people and they fight back and they kill him with relative ease. But I guess that's because we've got 4 or 5 killers to get through, so we have to.
Yeah. Now, just to be clear, are we in the spoiler section now, or we're still?
Sure, full spoilers from this point on.
Okay.
I'm not holding back. Let's not dance around it.
Okay. Just want to make sure. All right.
Let's not dance around it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so they deal with mini Nazi and one of the guys gets injured but not outright killed. And once they've killed the Nazi, the rich people have put out like a banquet for them to eat.
Now, I don't really. So, what exactly are the rich people betting on? Are they betting on like who will survive, or who like is, or are they betting on like specific killers, like who's gonna be the person to kill, like the last person or everyone? Or I felt I was a little unclear on that.
Everything. Like it seems like they're betting on who will be the last to survive.
Okay.
And then when we see them betting later, it's like, Doomhead will successfully kill them all, or he won't. That's what they seem to be betting on at the end. But it just seems like they're betting on all of it.
Okay, that's like another thing that I was like a little unclear. Like, I mean, obviously, it's not like we need to know much. Like, we just know that it's some rich people game where, these crazy psychopaths are hunting people or whatever. But still, it's just like even when they first announced it, like they're like, we're going to play 31, and I'm like, are we supposed to know what 31 is? Is that a common
Well, we should
thing?
mention it is set on Halloween. The whole thing is they do this every year on Halloween night.
Oh, okay.
Did you not realize it was Halloween?
No, they said it early on. I knew that.
Okay, cool.
Is that why it's called 31? Because it's on October 31st?
Well, yeah, duh.
Okay, but why? I mean, I feel like it's still not a good name for the game.
I don't disagree with that, but that's clearly why they've called it 31 is because it takes place on the 31st of October.
I didn't think about that. I guess that makes... Well, I was trying to think like, was there like 31 people or something? I guess you can do that.
No, don't worry, Professor. I'm here for you. When things don't work out, I'm here for you. So yeah, they're eating food and they even question that it might be poisoned, but then they eat it anyway because then it turns out they're eating someone. They're eating human meat and they're all vomiting, whatever. But this is when they introduce the next set of killers. We get 2 at the same time. We get 2 clowns, Schizohead and Psychohead, who basically openly threat rape on the female characters. They're basically, right, we're coming for you, we're going to kill them, and then we're going to,
Like, almost every dude in this movie is super rapey.
Oh, yeah, they are. These ones are probably the most rapey just because they say it constantly. They're constantly saying, we're going to do this to this hole and that hole, and they're just, listing all the things they're going to do to them. I've got to admit, this is the part of the movie where, so they get trapped in a cage, right, while these chainsaw-wielding clowns are after them. And, like, 2 of them get trapped inside the cage, 2 of them get trapped out of the cage, and there's one clown with a chainsaw inside the cage, one clown with a chainsaw out. So there's two people to one chainsaw guy in and outside the cage, right? That's the setup. And both groups of two people manage to beat the chainsaw person. And it makes the killers look a little bit, well, crappy, let's be honest.
Yeah, none of them are really that good.
Yeah, because, like, one or two of them get cut a little bit, but for the most part,
Yeah.
like, the main characters to this point, other than the one who's already died from the previous ones, like, the four of them get out of this fairly unscathed. It's not until the next killers where they start to properly take some casualties. And the next killers, of course, are Sexhead and Deathhead. Sexhead being the same woman who lured them, or not lured them, but came over to do a bit of reconnaissance at the start of the gas station.
Yeah.
And again, she's basically Harley Quinn, for the lack of a better.
Yeah. And do you know who played her?
Elizabeth Daly.
Yeah, dude. Like, I don't know if you've like seen a lot of stuff she was in, but she does like a lot of cartoon voices. Probably most notable is it Tommy from Rugrats?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just I thought that was weird. So I could like because when she first came on, I was like I didn't really recognize her by the way she looked, but like I was like, that voice sounds familiar. And then later I checked IMDb and I was like, oh, okay, that's weird.
You're going to be able to watch Rugrats the same way again, are you?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. So her and the big death, and they have an interaction with them, and they get killed. Basically, what's her face? Charlie managed to grab Sex and hold her and like threaten her, and Death like turns his back on the other people, and then he gets brutally killed.
Yeah.
And then this is when Charlie becomes unsympathetic because she just like slits her throat, even though she doesn't have to.
Yeah.
We get proper grimy here because she's just like, yeah, I'm just going. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's I'm kind of surprised. Like, oh, I feel like if the settings were a little different, I could see, I guess the people we're supposed to be rooting for, I could see them as the ones like playing this game, like as the killers. Like it's
yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. If the point there was that there was going to be an arc where this game turns these people into like killers to survive, then that's cool. But they feel so grimy and like morally corrupt from the get-go that it doesn't mean anything to us.
Maybe that's why they don't react that much when they wake up in this place. They're just like, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, we gotta kill people to get out. All right, got it. Yeah, that's
sure.
all right.
That's normal. Yeah, that's another Saturday night for me.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm glossing over the actual kills here. I don't think any of them are particularly special. There's a decapitation. One of the clowns gets decapitated with a chainsaw, but there's not.
Yeah, there's. I wouldn't say the gore is bad. Like it's, like there's some. I thought decent gore in it, but
the blood spatter's fine. The problem that we go back to again is that every time something's happening, the camera is like shaking around and moving.
Yeah.
And, like it's just you never get a second to, and that's to say you can't have it moving and you can't have it like cutting fairly quickly. But there is a limit where it turns into like, oh, I can barely make out what's going on here. It's not.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Like, it almost like.
Rather than making it feel energetic, or visceral, you're making it feel confusing. Just from a perspective of seeing what's going on.
It feels more like, and this might be kind of appropriate, but like in some ways it kind of feels like almost like a music video. Like it's very, like energetic and, like lots of cuts and cutaways and like everything. And I don't know, obviously, if maybe that's Rob Zombie's musical, upbringing or whatever kind of plays into that. But I don't know.
Is it musical upbringing? You made that sound like it's his like a.
not like he was raised, but you know what I mean.
I know what you
how
mean,
he started in the business.
It was just funny how you said that. His musical upbringing. His parents would come in singing to him in the morning, and they would pretend every day was a musical. Every day was West Side Story. That's why I rebelled so hard and got the long hair and became like a metal artist. And then, of course, that's when they finally call Doomhead, that was teased at the start of the movie. And he is probably the best part of the movie in that he, again, I kind of like the actor, and you couldn't tell it from the first scene because it was in black and white, but he actually modelled himself after Nosferatu.
Yeah.
And Dracula.
Yeah, and I was wondering how you would react to this scene because I didn't know if you were gonna be like, dang it, like Rob Zombie's like ruining another movie that I love. Which I mean, it's not like he's ruining the movie, but it's like, why do you have to put this cool thing into your dumb thing?
Honestly, I feel like Dracula Nosferatu is such a staple of like horror history at this point. It's not like a
Yeah,
case. It's not like someone doing a Freddy Krueger. I feel like, oh, you're raping Freddy Krueger. I feel like, no,
yeah,
you're doing Dracula. Dracula is like something that anyone can just mimic.
hmm
Um, but I like that he modeled himself after that. However, the scene of him again, immature sex scene of him like having sex with this woman whilst watching Nosferatu,
hmm
and then as soon as he gets the call
yeah,
to go in and kill someone, he's like, right, clean yourself up and get out, you dirty whore. And
yeah.
she's like, arguing with him, and he's just like, he's so awful to. Not that she's a peach herself, she doesn't seem particularly
Right.
pleasant like everyone else in this movie, but yeah. And so
She
then he
she
stopped.
even
There you go. Yeah, I was ready to jump ahead, so you stick in
But
this scene.
as
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, she even asks to take a shower, and and he even tells her like, "No, you can't. You have to go."
It almost feels like Rob Zombie's speaking to the audience in that scene.
Yeah,
Can we have a shower? No.
yeah,
Jesus. Anyway, so he comes in dressed as Dracula and he stalks and stabs and kills everyone but Charlie. So we've got a final girl now. And at this point, for some reason, the gates have opened up. They can get outside. So she wanders outside into. It must be near the gas station because she finds all those puppets again that we've seen at the start of the movie. And that's when he comes in and he knocks her out, and then he's given a similar speech that he did at the start of the movie, as if he's about to do the same thing to her. But time runs out. The game
yeah,
ends because it hits. I said 7 o'clock. I was just guessing 7. I'm not actually sure what time it was, but whatever time it hits, and he's like, "Oh, you lucky," blah blah blah. And we see the aristocrats like put away their fancy wigs because they're all wearing these like old school, European like style wigs and all that, and
yeah. That's another thing that was just like, I was like, man, what aesthetic is this movie going for? Like, you have like all these like kind of like backwoodsy, rednecky kind of guys, and then like you got all these like circusy kind of guys, and then it keeps cutting into this, which is like all these like aristocratic,
well,
old timey fop guys.
I hate to give or imply that Rob Zombie's put this much thought into it, but I'm going to give it a go and give you a thematic reason for these
Okay.
three distinct sort of types of person, type of look.
You
The
know, say
aristocrats,
because they're rich.
they're
Like they're,
rich, the rednecks are the poor, and then the clowns and the circus folk that are killing are the entertainers that the rich would have do things for them. Like, so
yeah,
I'm just, there's like a social structure there. Not that I want to imply that Rob Zombie's making like
yeah.
a deep social commentary. I really don't want to do that. 'Cause I don't think he is. But
It's just like I do get that, but I don't know. It's just weird, like cutting back to this and that, and it just makes it feel kind of, I don't know, weirdly disorganized. Like watching it. Like, I'm not saying that you can't have like juxtapose different types of things in movies, but for this, it didn't really work for me.
no, it didn't. And the funny thing is I do actually like the idea of them at the end taking off their wigs and being just normal people from the
Yeah.
looks of it. Like, I actually wrote a spec script once. Well, I was still in high school. It's probably terrible because I was still in high school, like I say. So my writing was probably less than special at the time. But one of the ideas I had was that the killer at the end of this horror story would turn out to be a regular person with a regular family, and it would be that would be the scary part of it. Is why is he do it? Like they could be among us, and I like that kind of idea. But this movie just kind of does nothing with it.
Yeah.
So it's whatever. So, yeah, so she survives, but then, Doomhead drives up behind her and pulls out his knives anyway, and we end on like close-ups of their eyes as they're about to stand off, even though she can barely walk, clearly,
Yeah.
and he's clearly about to kill her from the looks of it. So, and that's how the movie ends. I like the song that plays as the movie's ending. I'll give you that much.
I was kind of mad at the ending because I kind of liked the fact that he did just let her go, that he was like, nuts. Well, that's the game and those are the rules and stuff. And then when he was pulling up beside her, I actually thought he was gonna kind of be like, hey, let me give you a ride or something, kind of which I thought would have been a lot more interesting.
That's what I thought as well. I thought since the game was over, he was just going to
Yeah,
like befriend her almost because
yeah,
he was out of the work position now. He was out of he clocked out, as if you will.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I mean, it wouldn't have made up for the movie, but I thought it would have been a lot more interesting. But yeah, instead we just get this like, like it's supposed to be a intense standoff, but like you said, she is inches away from death. That like nothing interesting is gonna happen. He is very easily gonna like overpower her unless like some crazy miracle happens. But we don't. If there is, we don't see it. I don't know.
I think it's safe to say we did not enjoy Rob Zombie's 31.
No, not at all.
Anything else you'd like to add or talk about before we get to the old ratings, Timothy?
I don't know. I can't imagine really who digs this kind of stuff, and if you do, I mean, more power to you. But
yeah. Like seriously, if you like Rob Zombie movies, then sure, love Rob Zombie movies. That's fine. Like,
yeah,
we're not going to judge you, but we don't get it.
and I would have said before that I kind of feel bad for like dogging on Rob Zombie because like I've heard him on podcasts before, and he's like a smart, intelligent guy, and he's interesting, and I like to hear him. But after reading that article I shared with you the other day, where John Carpenter was saying that he was like talking smack about him, now I'm like, no, screw this guy. I don't care about him.
Yeah, I've never even heard him speak. He's the guy who bastardized Halloween, and
Yeah.
that he's just sullied as a result of that. Like,
Yeah.
so
I think
for me, obviously, I mean for me specifically, not for everyone.
Yeah.
But
What he feels like to me is it's going to be a big insult to him, but hey, but it feels like you can have like a director who is a horror fan making movies, and then you can have just a horror fan making movies, and it doesn't feel like he's like a good director. He just feels like he's just a horror fan.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was a sick burn, Timmy.
I'm sorry, but
I agree with you, but it's a sick burn.
because it just seems like something like a clerk at Hot Topic. Like if they asked him to make a movie, he'd be like, oh yeah, cool, like we'll dress this person up like a sexy clown nurse, and she's gonna have like a chainsaw, and then this guy's gonna have chains, and then we're gonna have like a Nazi little person dressed like Adolf Hitler, and they're all gonna be fighting these redneck carnival workers, and it's like, oh, that sounds horrible.
Yeah, that about sums it up. So Timmy, let's get to some ratings then. The old biscuits out of 10.
I'm gonna have to give this a special rating that I've never given on this show before, but I think it'll be appropriate. I'm gonna give it a 3.1.
We don't have a 10 decimal place system, Timmy. You can do 0.5s.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll round down to just a 3, but know in my heart that it's 3.1.
It's just slightly better than a 3.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I mean, if nothing else, I did. I like the actor playing the Doomhead, and I did kind of like the opening scene. And I will say, if nothing else, at least Rob Zombie does have like a tone. Like, I don't like the tone, but you can't deny that there's like a vision there. Like, he creates a world, and you feel like you're living in it. It's horrible, and I want no part of it. But it's not. It doesn't feel generic. I'll give him that. It doesn't just feel like
That's true. Yeah.
Mr. Smith, who just got out of movie school, went and made the most generic thing ever. It's not generic. It's just So I'll give it that much. So with that in mind, I think I'm going to go slightly higher. I'm going to go 4 out of 10.
All right.
Because at least it gave us stuff to complain about and talk about. There's some movies that can barely struggle to give us that.
Yeah, I mean that is a good point. Like, at least he does kind of have like a style. Whether or not we like it, whatever. But at least you can say that he does something that's like kind of his own signature
Yeah.
thing. He's not doing like the generic like friend request kind of movie, you know.
It doesn't get me wrong. I think he sticks too close to the exact same style every time, but he does have a style. Whereas you watch Friend Request and it feels like this came out of a boardroom meeting,
Yeah.
and like no one with any artistic idea in their head had anything to do with it. So
If anything, I feel like maybe a studio should have a little more say in these movies.
there's a healthy balance, is what we're saying.
Yeah.
A nice healthy balance. You need, you want an artistic vision, but you want someone with the checkbook over the shoulder going, look. Let's not take the piss, basically. But that's 31. That's Rob Zombie's 31. That is the end of this episode of Screams After Midnight. Of course, we're doing a bunch of extra ones over the month of October. It is an October-thon. That's why everything's orange for the month. And we'll have more coming to you in the next few days. So, thank you very much. Check out all the other stuff we do. We have regular movies on 1.21 gigawatts. Head over to the Melfuzz TV channel for weekly TV reviews. Of course, me and Tim have been working through Tales from the Crypt, one episode per week. Every weekend a new episode goes up of that. We talk about the episodes and, we have fun doing that. I've never seen it before, so it's like a nice journey of discovery for me. Plus, me and Tim also discuss Ash vs. Evil Dead on the TV channel. Because Connor doesn't watch that, so Tim gets in for that almost cancelled review. Other than that, guys, like and subscribe, all that stuff. Let us know what you thought of the movie in the comments below. If you like Rob Zombie, tell us why. Try not to be mean about it, because some people get very upset when you don't like things they like. So try to be civil. But hey, we'll see how it goes. Basically what I'm saying is, try not to be like a Rob Zombie character.
Yeah. Hey, believe it or not, sometimes I like stuff that might not be considered that good, if you can believe it.
Oh, I can believe it. I have seen many an evidence of this. Oh dear. That Screams After Midnight, guys. We will see you next time. Keep watching scary movies, and whatever you do, don't watch Rob Zombie movies.